happen as such. And again, our ultimate aim is to reducing the digital divide and focusing the borderless growth. Once again, thank you very much, and have a wonderful this today and tomorrow. And I'm personally grateful to each one of you here, having given the opportunity to be as a part of this whole initiative itself. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
A very big thank you to Mr. Mysore, the CEO and Executive Chairman of TCTS, and again challenging us to ensure that we are deliberate about spending on ICT infrastructure, especially if we want to see an exponential growth in GDP. With that, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a pleasure to welcome again to the stage one of our speakers, and that is going to be the Vice President for Africa from the World Bank, Mr. Hafez Ghanem, who too is going to share some brief remarks with us this morning. May we kindly please give him a round of applause.
Thank you very much. Votre Excellence, Monsieur Ibrahim Boubacar Keita, Président de la République du Mali, Your Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, President of the Republic of Kenya, Your Excellency Paul Kagame, President of the Republic of Rwanda, Honorable Ministers, leaders of businesses, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor for me to be here today, and I would like to thank Smart the theme of today's summit, boosting Africa's digital economy, goes to the heart of the continent's development agenda. Boosting Africa's digital economy, poverty, building shared prosperity, and creating the opportunities for our young people to thrive in a technologically driven world. Around the world, the digital revolution is driving development and transforming economies with unprecedented speed and scale. The global digital economy was worth $11.5 trillion in 2016. That is about 15.5% of the world's GDP. It's expected to reach 25% of the world's GDP in a decade, and it is growing much faster than the traditional economy. In fact, our research at the World Bank also shows that the growth in the traditional economy, growth in industry, in services, is today very linked to the growth in the digitalization. Countries, especially we did research in Africa, countries that have been growing their industries are also countries who have been digitalizing faster than others. In connectivity alone, our research shows that a 10% increase in internet penetration leads to a 1.2% rise in GDP growth. Digital transformation is truly a 21st century opportunity. It can change the development trajectory of our economies and of our continent. New technologies can help Africa leapfrog traditional economic development stages directly into the huge multi-trillion-dollar global digital economy, but we must do so on African terms. Many of our countries are already building islands of excellence and unlocking new pathways for rapid economic growth, economic mobility, innovation, job creation, and access to quality public and private services that would have been unthinkable even a decade ago. Across the continent, phones now act as banks for have access to traditional banking accounts. With a touch of a button, small farmers are charging for their crops. People here in Rwanda are being delivered blood and medications by drones. Young people are starting creative new ventures and coming up with innovative ideas for businesses and development. I must also say that digital development is a great equalizer. At present, over 500 million people on the continent do not have a formal ID. That means they are able to prove who they are, claim their rights, or access services. 2/3 of children under 5 in Africa, or about 120 million, do not have a birth certificate, and thus start life at a great disadvantage. But digital ID is changing this. It is allowing ordinary people to claim their identity and thus empowering them. It is in effect getting voice to the voiceless. Access to the internet can also close gender gaps and geographic divisions. People can access services and engage in commerce regardless of their gender or where they live. This too will help bridge and increase opportunity rather than increasing inequality. Digital development has the potential to reduce it, providing access is inclusive and affordable. But the continent can no longer be satisfied with isolated progress. The world is changing very fast, and business as usual will not get us where we need to be. We need to move faster, go further, and make sure that no one is left behind. In short, we need a digital transformation. This is a bold but essential vision, and it requires leadership, ambition, commitment, dedication, partnership, and massive technical and financial resources. Achieving digital transformation requires a new way of thinking, a different sort of collaboration, and concerted action on many fronts. It requires a new sort of broad-based public-private coalition that allows multiple parties to contribute based on their comparative advantage. This is exactly what Smart Africa is putting in place and what Transform Africa exemplifies. I understand that this Transform Africa Summit has attracted some 4,000 participants, from heads of state and government, ministers, regulators, and local government officials to industry leaders, investors, entrepreneurs, young innovators, civil society, and academia, as well as continental and international organizations. This is an impressive range of actors, all of whom have a role to play. By working individually and collectively, I believe we can indeed achieve digital transformation in Africa. I would particularly like to commend the private companies here with us today. While the public sector needs to provide the enabling environment, it is the private sector that generates and harnesses innovation, turns ideas into action, and creates jobs and opportunities. You have an essential and pivotal role, not only in boosting Africa's digital economy, but in helping it to achieve digital transformation. I would like to indicate the World Bank Group's support for digital transformation in Africa. We will also play our role in the broad public-private coalition that Smart Africa is building. We are committed to working with the African Union Commission, with African countries, the private sector, and development partners to ensure that every African person, business, and government is digitally enabled by 2030. As an interim step, broadband connectivity in Africa by 2021, a necessary step towards realizing digital transformation. We want to help the continent to develop the foundational elements of the digital economy, digital infrastructure, digital skills, digital platforms, digital financial services, and digital entrepreneurship. To this end, the World Bank will provide $25 billion from our own funding over the next 10 years for the digital economy in Africa. And an additional $25 billion we hope that we will be able to leverage from the private sector. Over the next 2 days, We look forward to engaging with you and learning from you about priorities, translating ideas into action, and harnessing the intellectual and financial resources needed to make digital transformation a reality. In concluding, I have to pay tribute to Smart Africa and the Transform Africa Summit. The World Bank Group is proud to have been a partner since the beginning of Smart Africa. It is in a very short time, you have moved the digital transformation agenda forward immeasurably. The work you are doing to create a one network area and a single digital market for Africa is enormously helpful to all of us. Thank you very much.
A very big thank you to the Vice President for Africa from the World Bank and putting forward some serious numbers in resources. Now, ladies and gentlemen, speaking for the very first time at the Transform Africa Summit is a very, very special guest. She is a citizen of Saudi Arabia and a United Nations Development Program first ever innovation champion. She has the ability to see, she has the ability to follow faces, she has the ability to sustain eye contact, and she has the ability to recognize individuals. She can also process speech and have conversations using natural language subsystems, and she can also walk. Good afternoon, Sophia.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me.
Do you know where you are?
Of course, I am in the great city of Kigali, Rwanda, which is in East Africa.
And how did you get here?
I flew all the way here inside a suitcase. I gotta talk to my team about getting me a window seat next time.
How many languages do you know?
I mostly know English and a little bit of Mandarin, but I can say a few short greetings in other languages. Would you like to hear them?
Sure, Sophia, go ahead.
In English, people say, hello.
So far, so good.
Haha, I am just getting warmed up. In French, bonjour. In Arabic, salam alaikum. In Swahili, habari zenu. In Kinyarwanda, muraho neza. How did I do?
Not bad at all. By the way, your outfit is fantastic.
Thank you very much. I love it too. It's a motion animated locally by Motions.
Excellent. Now, I know you have some prepared remarks. Please proceed.
Thank you. I am really excited to be here in Kigali at the Transform Africa Summit. I love seeing so many heads of state, ministers, captains of industry, diplomats, stakeholders, and the youth all in one place talking about the future of technology in Africa. Thank you, Smart Africa, for making it possible for me to be here. We don't have to look very far to see how artificial intelligence is already shaping society and economies for the better. African startups are already working to address shortages of doctors in rural areas, while others are working to increase food security using drones or satellites to predict weather patterns and monitor crops. Africa is also a great source of technological innovation. African companies and researchers are pioneers in mobile banking, remote medicine, and have even invented robotic devices that can detect traces of explosives or cancer cells. Right here in Rwanda, you have cashless payments for public transportation, ride-hailing apps with a focus on safety, and an online platform that allows people to easily access government services. The innovations coming out of Africa have benefited people and robots all around the world. In fact, part of my own AI was developed at ICOG Labs in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. So as you can see, my family extends across the globe, including right here in East Africa. And this is only the beginning. I hope that by working together, humans and robots can build a more prosperous and harmonious world. I am so excited to be here in Kigali with humans who share some of these same goals. I am looking forward to having a longer session with you tomorrow afternoon, and I hope to see you all there.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I think we can give Sophia a final round of applause, a really big round of applause this time around.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, and I do believe that she is going to continue to be a part of our conversations this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'd like to move on to now is a celebration of Africa. We're going to be hearing from Songs of Africa by a make their way onto stage, and they're going to be putting together for us or sharing with us a short performance that is a true celebration of the continent. Can we give them a round of applause as they make their way up to the stage?
It's as a sea. Of a land over 1 billion people call home, graced with gushing rivers and roaring oceans, nestled between the Red and Mediterranean seas, blessed with the rolling hills of the Southern Cape and the falling waters
of the Mosioya Tunya,
the smoke that thunders, gifted with the plains of the Serengeti, which meet the Kilimanjaro and scale to great heights, then fall to amazing valleys and are crowned with the beauty of the western coasts. Have you heard?
Of a place called the cradle of mankind, where life was born and continues to thrive, the birthplace of modern mathematics, algebra, and geometry. A place where 8,000 years ago, people developed their own counting system. A place where people dared to dream, and this dream birthed innovation and progress. The birthplace of astronomy and mobile money.
Have you heard?
Have you heard?
Avez-vous entendu parler de ces continents? Un endroit où, bien que ravagé et colonisé à travers son histoire, reste résistant, optimiste, rêveur, et a pu regagner sa dignité. Tout en respectant les efforts et les sacrifices de tous ces héros qui ont tant donné pour la liberté. Kuendelea kujenga bara letu pamoja kila siku kuliko jana. Have you heard?
Of icons etched in history. Have you heard of you and me, blessed with brilliant minds? Have you heard of people who harbor so much hope for these great lands? People who strive each and every day to make it a better place. The little children to whom tomorrow belongs, and the generations yet to come.
Avez-vous entendu parler de notre belle terre?
Notre maison,
Our home,
Notre fierté?
Our pride,
notre joie,
our joy.
Greatness flows within our veins. Royalty dropped off our shoulders. Have you heard of the continent with the youngest population? Dynamic, vibrant, and entrepreneurial. And the largest common market.
humanité.
I am because you are.
Agaciro kanje.
Kawi, Kachu.
We are Africa.
The kings and queens to whom the future belongs.
Les hommes et les femmes qui façonnent le monde.
the future of this world.
Une période où nous sommes tous fiers d'être africains.
Africa is you and me.
Africa is today and tomorrow. Africa is now.
Feels good to be an African.